I do want to talk about the fact that I finally broke down. I got a flu shot today. The woman that was administering my shot, because I could not roll up my sleeve to the point where my upper arm was exposed, I had to give her a little bit of shoulder, which is fine because she's a nurse and it's a hospital and who cares.
Had to give her a little bit of shoulder is like great phrase for something.
Just a little bit,
Spice up her day a little.
Bit. So we started talking about the show, The Office. Mm-hmm. And this is what I hate when I mention the show The Office, you know what people that annoy me say? Oh, the American one. Okay. Shut up.
The lesser of the office eye.
Oh, no, because I know more than you do.
So I'm a cultured person who watches the non-US version of shows?
Yes, I watched the funny one.
Perhaps you've heard of me. They call me a dish.
So
it's French. Welcome to Bitter Coffee, a podcast from two friends who are just about over it. I'm Derek Fenton.
And I'm Kelly Coffey.
Welcome, everybody, to Bitter Coffee. Thanks for listening to us. Thanks for tuning in. Do people tune into a podcast? I was thinking about this the other day. Is that a thing that happens? You don't really tune anything. There's no dial involved. But I guess, if you're listening, you're tuning in, right?
And does an episode drop?
Oh, boy, this is a whole other thing about the nomenclature right now about releasing things. You can't release anything. You've got to drop it.
You drop it.
Yep, you drop that podcast. Yeah, well, whatever. Listen, thanks for being here for our drop of podcast episode.
Thank you for listening to episode 14.
Listen, every episode is special, but perhaps this is the most special of episodes that we've had here on Bitter Coffee so far because we have a special guest.
A very special guest.
Here in the Bitter Coffee studios, we have Mo Citro.
Yeah!
Welcome to the show, Mo.
Yeah!
Greetings and salutations.
Welcome aboard.
If I had any capability to add background noise, I'd put a crowd clapping. Just imagine it's there because that's how we feel.
I want that air horn.
Oh, I was going to download that on my phone. I know.
I mean, I'm not to brag, but yeah.
I feel like we have to redo the intro.
No, I mean, I'll just cut it together. It's fine.
It's my favorite sound in the whole world because you can use it it's your exclamation point.
Yeah.
And I did that.
Yeah. I've gotten really good. I do it at work whenever we have a great thing that happens on the team.
Man.
And all
I
the
wouldn't
time.
want a surgeon to do that though. I just saved your life.
No, you know what? I would.
Yeah,
of
no,
course you would.
absolutely.
I would. Yeah.
If they're going to be excited about it, I want to know. And how else am I going to know unless they're out here? Yeah, that's amazing.
Speaking of air horns.
Oh, I love that transition already.
When I lived in downtown Burlington many, many years ago, I lived next door to Yankee Tattoo.
Okay.
And Burlingtonians will know where that is. Mm-hmm. So my living room window faced the rear door of Radio Bean.
Okay.
An unair-conditioned establishment in downtown Burlington. So during the summer, they would keep the rear door open for
That's what she said.
air.
Gotta keep that rear door open. Sorry. Continue.
So they would keep that door open despite the fact that there were bands playing.
Right. Sure.
So in between songs, I'd hit the air horn. So it would hide underneath my window. And then there was one night.
Air horn bandit strikes again.
Exactly. And the music would kind of abruptly stop sometimes. It was wonderful.
Patrons puzzled.
I would call sometimes and say, can you do me a favor? Because if Stevie Ray Vaughan heard what you were doing to his song, he would be rolling over in his grave. So then the owner and whoever answered the phone.
Stevie Ray wrong.
Exactly. I wouldn't say they look forward to my phone calls, but they'd be like, oh, she's calling again. They knew that I would call.
But they didn't know you were the air horn woman.
I don't think so.
Yeah, see, that makes it all the better.
No. So that's all I have to say about air horns.
So Mo, what brings you to the show? Tell us about how you found yourself in our third mic seat.
Well, Kelly and I have known each other for, I don't know, a good 5 years
It's
anyway.
been 5 years.
Yeah, we worked together
Sure.
at the hospital on the hill. That would be the UVM Medical Center. And so we got to know each other through that, and we stayed friends. Not without our rocky moments.
Did we?
I mean, that's going to bear itself out, I think, this evening.
I guess we'll find out.
Falling out.
Yes.
Let me break it down. I was pissed that she was leaving.
Okay.
Because we had a vision. We were gonna transform the way that we deliver healthcare.
You're right.
But
Nice.
to the families, not
Yep.
the patients, because we took care of the families in
Yep.
the waiting room in surgery.
Yep.
Surgical waiting area. That's
Yep.
where we worked.
Gotcha.
And so I was pissed that she was leaving me
Understandable.
in this, because we had this whole thing. We were going to do a podcast even back then.
We were going to do a podcast
Yep.
back then. Yep.
But so I was.
That was
angry.
one of your original shower thoughts.
Yes, I have many shower thoughts.
Podcast. That's it. That's the
Yes.
future.
Yeah.
And back then, it was the future. Like you were
know.
really,
It was.
you were really ahead of the
I didn't
game.
act on it though. Kelly did.
Well,
No.
there's so many of those things that we
5
have.
years later.
Seems like an idea.
Right.
Maybe 5 years from now we'll get
It's like
on
so
that.
much work.
It is a. It's,
You have to
yes.
put on headphones and talk.
So you had a moment. You had a moment of disappointment in Kelly's departure.
So when she left that day,
So no, let me back up a
okay, you back
little
up.
bit. Let's not fight. Okay?
Listen, it's real
We're in
early
a-
in
we're
the
in a good
podcast,
place right
okay?
now.
We got to hold
are
it together
in a
for at
good
least
place.
35 minutes or we don't have a show, all right?
So what happened was I had given my notice and Mo just completely shut down. So I thought, wow, this is going to be a really long 2 weeks.
Listen, spoiler alert, don't do that to the podcast because guess what? This guy,
Exactly.
inconsolable.
Exactly. So then they asked me to stay an additional 3 weeks, and we were at a point where we weren't even looking at one another.
Boy.
But we had to pretend like we were really great and all the patients loved us.
yeah.
But it was bad. So on my last day, Mo looked at me and she said, as she was leaving, she said, "Well, good luck." And my response, "Same to you."
Oh, same to you.
Just like that?
Yeah.
With the long U? Same to you.
And she did it across a very long counter. Like, couldn't be bothered to come over and say goodbye.
Best goddamn wishes.
There were cards and presents from patients' families.
She got nothing from me.
I got nothing. I got nothing. No. So, yeah. So that's me and Mo. Welcome to the show.
But then we had lunch and we made up.
Yep,
and
we did.
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, interestingly, it didn't sound like an origin story so much as like, what's the opposite of origin? Like a destination story?
Yeah,
Where
I
the
think
destination
so.
sounded terrible, but as it turns out, it brought you here.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy for
Here
that.
we are.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank
Here we
you.
are.
This
I'm
is
so
great.
happy to be here.
Yep.
Well, we appreciate you being the first guest on Bitter Coffee. We don't suspect it will be our last guest. We can't figure out the phone thing. So if you're local, let us know because we might be able to slot you in.
Yeah, this is true.
Got to figure out a Google form situation where people can submit to be
It's
on
a
the show.
lot of work.
It's going to be a lot of work. So don't be surprised, Mo, if you're the first and only guest we ever have. I would not be shocked.
Wonderful.
Okay.
So while we have you here, I know that Kelly had a bunch of stuff that she wanted to chat about.
None of it makes a lot of sense.
Well, that's exactly what the podcast is for.
Okay.
So let's just jump into it.
okay. So I want to say hi to a few people.
Okay.
I'm going to give a shout out to Sarah Mel and Kim Jordan.
Hello.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome aboard.
Thanks for listening. I want to give a huge shout out to, I think, the person who is our youngest listener and fan.
Oh, that's exciting.
I know.
Okay.
We hit the 12-year-old demographic, and we weren't even, I wasn't expecting it.
I mean, if there's any demographic that this
That's
podcast
it.
really suits, 12-year-olds.
They are the future.
They
You
are.
guys are killing it.
That's what I understand. The children are the future.
They are.
Yeah.
Teach them well.
Yeah. And let them lead the way, honestly.
And if I have any advice, it's let them show the beauty that they have inside. Is that how it
Listen,
goes?
I'll be honest. Those are the only lyrics of that song I know.
Okay. And as a 12-year-old, she has no idea what we're
Right.
talking about
No
right now.
clue what we're talking
So,
about. But I'm so glad she's listening. Who is this 12-year-old?
her name is Grace Batesy.
What a great name.
Big shout out to Grace Batesy.
Grace
and her
Batesy.
sister Mary and her mom Margo and her dad Dan.
Shout out everyone.
Yeah.
Thanks so
I
much
feel-
for listening.
I think Grace is pretty much like she runs that family.
Well, she's a 12-year-old girl.
Yeah,
So
she's
I
in
mean,
charge.
by default, she's
She's
definitely
wonderful.
in charge.
So thank you for listening.
Thanks so
and
much for
I hope
listening.
you're enjoying it. And
I
I'm
would
sorry that
thank-
I sometimes curse.
Kelly is sorry. I'm not sorry that I
No.
sometimes curse.
Okay.
How's your crazy aunt?
You know what? Here's a funny thing. My aunt lives in. Thank you for bringing that up.
Well, I said aunt, but you say aunt.
It's aunt.
Okay. I'm French.
Am I going to have to
Canadian,
jump
it's
in
aunts.
here or...
You're born and raised in Vermont. What are you talking about?
Interestingly, when I point to other people, I say
French?
aunts.
And Italian.
Okay, but... Okay. No, but like,
It shouldn't
okay.
matter if I'm in Vermont or whatever.
But it made it sound like, I'm from France.
I'm
you
proper French.
Crazy
Just
Americans.
said- well, it's like tomato, really. Aunts,
See,
aunts.
and now we're fighting again.
I know. We can't have a nice day.
I don't say tomato, though.
Nobody says tomato.
Okay,
I was just
Unless
making
you're a
a
pretentious
reference.
asshole, no one says tomato.
Here's a weird
Pretentious
thing.
assholes out there.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. Appreciate you.
I realized that I talk a little bit differently than people that I live and work with. But there's a few words that I just realized within the last few days that I say very differently.
Oh, I can't wait for you to tell everyone so they can make fun of you.
Okay, so when you buy something on Amazon,
Yep.
what do? You
Purchase it?
no,
You add it to your cart?
you order it.
Oh, I'm sorry. You what now?
You order it.
You order
There's
order
a
it?
W in there.
Yeah,
You
you
need to
threw a
take out.
W in there.
O-R-D, yeah,
It's extra.
What?
order.
Oh,
I heard that the other day. And I
Order.
said it and I was like, yeah, that sounds normal.
that's totally normal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I said something like, oh, we should order that. Michelle was like, what? I also say the word, and it rhymes, sort of, with order. Corner.
Is that the
There's a
person
theme.
who takes care of you when you die? The coroner?
No, that's the corner.
Right?
Right?
See.
So she says corner, right, but not corner.
Right. Interesting.
Okay, right's a strong word, but that's fine.
Says it in a way.
And there was a bunch of words that I say, and I was saying something the other day, and I caught myself, and I sound exactly like my aunt. So then I started thinking about just how weird my aunt was and still is. She would do this to like roommates or like girlfriends or whoever. She had this habit, well, it was like a hobby, but it turned into a habit. When she retired, she would make her own chocolate, which was weird.
Is that a euphemism or is she like... No. Okay.
What's she
okay.
doing in there? Making
Boy,
chocolate.
yeah, she's in there making her own chocolate. You know what
go,
I'm saying?
girl.
You
You
know.
make that chocolate.
You know what I'm saying.
So she would make her own chocolate. And what I mean by making her own chocolate, she would go to this like a confectionery store. Is that what
Oh,
it's
okay.
called? Is that like
Sure.
a thing? And she would just melt down chocolate blocks and then tell people that she made chocolate. So like in a way,
She's not wrong.
Yeah, Mo, can I get a ruling on that? I mean,
Yes,
technically,
slightly.
she made chocolate a different shape.
I went to Costco, bought muffins, and put them on my plate. I made
muffins.
Muffins.
Look what I made.
Look what I
Muffins.
made.
I
with
bought
my
a
car.
I bought a cake and I cut smaller cakes and I put them in muffin tins. I made muffins.
That's
Yeah,
That's it.
So she made her own chocolate.
Okay, well, good for
Or
her.
she melted down her own chocolate. But she would do this weird thing. So she would come to visit and she'd be with my grandmother and she would offer like the candy to us that she made. Mm-hmm. But she wouldn't just say like, oh, here, I made some chocolate covered whatevers.
Yeah.
Because it was always something covered in something.
Okay.
It wasn't just like a chocolate block.
I mean, that's assembly. That's like making.
I guess.
Yeah.
But she would do this weird kind of flirty thing where she would talk out of the side of her mouth. But loudly, you know, kind of like a waiting for lefty, like, oh, hello, Citro. Would you like a chocolate covered pretzel? It was so.
Well, if I did before, I don't now.
No, thank you.
All
no,
set.
Why are you talking so weird?
Hey, Derek, I bet a chocolate covered strawberry. So one time I was
Is it going to give me the palsy?
So this is when you know you live in Vermont. When you
boy.
are driving a retired colonel and your dog walker to the State House in Montpelier.
Well, there you go.
There you go. Welcome to the Green Mountain State. So we were at the State House, and one of the people that I was with is usually at odds with one of your sisters, Nicole. Politically, Nicole and I are at opposite ends of the spectrum, and she's a staunch Republican, and it's great, and let's agree to disagree.
Sure.
But I will say this. So the person I was with and your sister, Nicole, you would think that if these two people were in a room, it'd be like cats in a bag.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But so Nicole came over and said hello to Roseanne and, hi, how are you? And they shook hands and you look lovely and you look really great.
Nice.
Like pleasantries were exchanged.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a class act right there.
Is this how being civil works?
It was amazing to see, especially in this day and age where we're so incredibly divided, to see two people who could not be more opposite and more passionate about how
She's
they
a
feel.
classy bitch.
I'm telling you, she is.
They weren't on Twitter at the time, so it was fine. They were IRL,
Totally fine.
and therefore totally fine.
So shout out to Nicole Citro for being a classy dame.
Right.
And I did send her an instant message, but now I'm not on Facebook for 30 days, which we're going to get into because I feel like I'm missing a lot. And
You've missed, even in the last couple of days, you've missed a lot.
what have I missed? Well, okay. I missed Alex Trebek saying that he had stage 4 pancreatic cancer, but I heard about it on the news.
God
so
bless.
Check.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe I heard the news a little bit later that Luke Perry / Dylan McKay had died.
And you have a very different take on that than I think Mo or I. We mentioned
never
this
watched the
quick.
show.
Oh my
Same.
God. It's
yeah.
like, I don't even know who you two
Listen,
are anymore.
I'm sorry for anybody who's
God.
instantly unsubscribing to the show because I haven't
Unbelievable.
I was
watched
living
it.
a life. I think. What years are we talking about?
I was living in Manhattan at the time, and I took the time. I had priorities. I took the time
All
to
right,
watch
I'll
that
give you,
show.
I'll give it to you. But what
You make
years
the
are
time.
this? Because I could have been. If it was '94, I was having Sadie. I was a new mom.
Yeah, it was the early to mid 90s.
Yeah.
Early 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
was-
you had a different set of priorities.
I was probably.
And you were what, like 7 years old at the time?
You probably.
I was like, I got my first bicycle.
Yeah, I was being an adolescent.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was doing at the time. It was way over my head, I think is the reason I never watched 90210. I mean, I'm aware of it from a cultural lexicon standpoint,
That doesn't
obviously,
help.
but that
Doesn't help.
No, I'm obviously very sad, and as are many people, very sad that he passed away. But yeah, it just wasn't ever part of my
You
life.
don't
Sorry
even
for your
know.
loss.
No.
I'm sorry. Oh, here we go.
Oh gosh.
You don't even know.
We don't
So
know.
we'd like to welcome you to the new segment on Bitter Coffee called "You Don't Even Know."
This is one of those you don't even know.
We've been looking for those sound effects on the
Crazy.
show.
And I'm
Like,
banging
we've
on the
got Mo
table.
now.
I'm sorry, listeners. I do
fine.
apologize.
Don't worry about it.
It's insane to me that flags were not lowered to half-mast.
Here we go.
All right.
You know,
Yeah. So, okay. So when I heard that Luke Perry / Dylan McKay died, what I loved, past tense hurts.
Tough.
He would respond to people that would send messages to him on Twitter all the time.
That's pretty cool.
And like in a really funny way. People
Yeah.
would be like, oh my God, I remember you growing up. I love you so much. And he
Yeah.
would say, keep on loving me. So if you go to the Luke Perry
Oh, that's
page,
great.
it's really funny.
Yeah.
But I mean, now the humor is stopped.
Well, I mean, I know of Luke Perry in some of the stuff he's done more recently, and he was a good actor. Like I certainly appreciated him as an actor. I think he was certainly emotive, and he got all of his roles seemed very powerful. It's just that part of his career that seems to have built him into the superstar that he was. I was never cognizant of it, so it always seems so strange when people get so excited that Luke Perry was in something.
Can I just say though, I saw some pictures of him as of recent. He did not look good. He looked a little rough.
But maybe if you knew his life, maybe if you knew the fact that, yes,
not
he
gonna
went to
go over well.
West Beverly.
No.
He did. And he eventually went to college. It wasn't really for him. He had a lot of money and he had no love in his life. And when he and Brenda broke up and he started dating Kelly,
No freaking idea what's going
and then
on.
he had a
right
drinking
I've heard
problem,
these names
and then his
before.
father exploded on a boat.
now. It sounds
like,
like a
This
nice
is what I
soap
need to
opera.
do. I need
Wait.
to put a pin in this conversation. I need to get my friend Margo Batesy on the show and do a special 3-hour Dylan McKay
I
special.
think you should do that. And I'm sorry that we can't be more supportive.
but-
but
No, it's fine. We brought cookies, so it all balances out.
Circle back. Did his father on the show literally explode on a boat?
Yes, he did.
Well, now I'm interested. Was there a lot of that on 90210? People
Towards
exploding?
the end, there were a lot of people
I
crashing
see.
into things and
This
blowing
is-
up.
Got it.
Yeah.
This was a jumping the shark sort of situation?
Before then.
Okay, got it.
Well
Got
before
it.
then. It
Got
had
it.
jumped the shark, and the shark was like, this show's stupid. And then that shark started watching Melrose Place, which is, as my aunt would say, oh, it's a spinoff of 90210. So, you know what? You don't even know.
We don't even know.
I can't even
don't
talk
know.
about it anymore.
No, we don't
I can't even talk about
This
it
has
anymore.
been You Don't Even Know
Nope.
on Bitter Coffee.
So
Check out our new spin-off podcast, You Don't Even Know.
You don't even know.
I don't even know.
Yes.
I was hoping you'd do that.
Thank
That
you.
was great.
Thank you.
So I was driving here tonight with Mo Citro,
Yes.
and I've had this ongoing issue. Well, I have a lot of ongoing issues, but one of the ongoing issues.
don't
Listen,
that
no way.
You don't say.
Absolutely
See,
not.
and the room
Don't
turned
say.
on me. Did everybody just hear that?
Listen,
I heard
if you-
issue, and I was like,
If you set them up, we're going to knock them down,
I
Kelly.
know, this is true. So I have one of my current issues is I get it. People need to cross the street. I understand that.
That's great.
You know, I like to make allowances.
Great intro.
it's really
But-
nice of you. Kelly.
Well, I mean, I'm a giver.
You are.
I try.
Yeah, oh, God,
you
yeah.
know, it's so
What'd you do today to help people? Well, I let them cross the street.
yeah.
You're
And
welcome, society.
Not being judgmental when I do it. You want to cross the street? Okay.
Have at it.
When people cross the street and they're carrying yoga mats,
Oh.
see, do you guys know where I'm going with this?
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They're kind of slow to cross the street. You know, I'm crossing the street. I have a yoga mat.
I have somewhere to be, and when I get there, I'm going to be limber as hell.
You don't
You
even
don't
know.
know.
So I'm all right. So
We
wow,
can
it's
appreciate.
Let it go.
very-
let it go. Let
very
it go.
2 against 1 right now.
So they're making a sequel to Frozen. There's a transition for you. They're
didn't
making
see
a
one.
sequel to Frozen. I did not see one either, but
didn't.
apparently it's like dark.
I didn't see it either.
It's well, we weren't. I wasn't even coming across the table to ask, Kelly. I wasn't even facing your direction. I knew you hadn't seen it.
One of Derek's pet peeves and Michelle's pet peeves, and I think it's yours too, the
that?
number of movies that I have not seen.
Star Wars.
Never saw them.
Star Wars.
Any of them.
Back to the Future.
Nope.
American Graffiti.
Yes.
Oh,
And-
I found one.
And
Wow.
I also watched American Graffiti 2. I believe
that
it's
was-
called
I don't-
More
oh.
American Graffiti.
It was. I just assume it's
You're right.
Electric
Yeah.
Boogaloo. All
No.
sequels are called Electric
They
Boogaloo.
should be.
Jurassic Park.
No.
Superman.
Yes. In the
No,
theater.
I got 2.
That's amazing. Batman,
Oh, you
the
guys
newer
are, like,
Batmans,
rhyming.
the Christian Bale Batmans.
No.
Okay.
I didn't see those.
I think I saw the Michael Keaton one
Okay,
in a movie
okay,
theater.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's legit.
So
Nice.
apparently I was a Batman fan.
Fraggle Rock.
No.
Oh, you're not missing.
Never
much.
saw never saw
I
E.T.
know, it is
Love
great.
that show.
All right, here's the one that really annoys people, and I had somebody get quite upset with me today, and they weren't joking. Princess Bride. Never saw it.
Oh, you should see it. Can I tell you something? Can we
Ooh, that
go
one
back
hurts.
to
Yeah,
E.T. for a
circle
sec?
back. Absolutely.
The little kid.
I
Yeah.
need my cookie.
No, excuse me. The second, the brother, the older brother.
Okay.
Robert McNaughton.
Uh-huh.
I think is his name. I was in a movie with him.
No kidding.
No kidding. There was a film that was filmed in Vermont called I Am the Cheese. I Am the Cheese. And he's the lead in it. And I was playing my cello as a 12-year-old.
Yes.
As an extra.
That's a
In that-
fantastic claim to fame.
Funny? I
That's
know.
amazing.
in a
Also,
movie.
movie filmed in Vermont called I Am the Cheese. Boy,
I know.
that really isn't
Look
at all.
that up on Google.
IMDb that sumbitch right there. I
It's
am
also,
the
I think
cheese.
it's a book, too.
It is an adaptation from a book, yes.
Adaption?
Adaption?
Adaptation?
Adaptation.
You said it with
My
such
tit
authority.
stroke is like in full flame right now. And so I
The
can't
look
tell my
on
words.
your face, you're like, thanks for your knowledge.
Well, because I just watched the Real Housewives of Jersey reunion the
It
other
was
day.
an adaption.
And she said the same kind of fucked up word. And I was like, oh, I just did a Teresa Giudice.
It's from a book that doesn't know its parents. It's an adaptation.
Adaption. You know, you know. But you knew what I was talking about.
Yeah,
so.
we got it. It's fine. What would this show be
Thanks.
without immediately jumping on things said incorrectly?
I know.
That's like 75% of the content.
So I want to talk about the fact that I am. That's kind of a lie earlier when I said that I'm not on social media for 30 days.
Oh, right. Okay.
I am not on Facebook.
Just Facebook.
Okay, just
Just
Facebook.
Facebook.
But
for
you're on
30 days.
Instagram because you've posted stuff
I am.
on Instagram.
I'm still on Twitter.
And you're still on Twitter. So I don't go on Twitter that much.
Do you know
missing
that
anything.
you still have me blocked on Twitter?
Are you freaking kidding me?
I kid
I
you
will
not.
unblock you right now. What-
Oh, changing lives.
This is how deep that fight got.
Where there was a
I
Twitter
am
block
going to
involved.
block her
And
on
we
Twitter.
still had to work together every day.
I know.
That was the amazing part. And sometimes
wasn't about to let you
side
see her
by side
tweets.
for several hours at a time.
No,
That was-
being like, hey, welcome to surgical waiting.
Yeah.
We're going to take really good care of you. Fuck you.
Oh yeah. There was one time when I was talking with a patient, or like the husband asked you and the wife asked me, and you essentially said she has no idea what she's talking about.
I did not.
Yeah, it was weird. It was weird.
I did.
Yeah,
I did?
But like, it was the way you said it. You're like, no, if you need anything, you come directly to me. And I'm like, I thought I was in the captain's
Sick
chair.
burn.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You know what? My deepest apologies.
Listen,
Because
Nobody knew that it had like any kind of like, what word am I looking for?
there was any kind of
Adaption.
strife.
there was any vitriol or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Adaption. It was
Zero
void of
adaption.
adaption.
So
But listen, all of that has brought us here tonight. And
Yes.
so it's all been worth it.
Kumbaya, motherfuckers. Kumbaya.
I was down in employee health today because I decided to finally get a flu shot.
Oh, I was going to say,
Hey,
check your
congrats.
herpes.
Yep. Nope.
Get that test.
Herpes free.
Good for you.
So I got a flu shot because I got an email and they were like, hey, you didn't get your flu shot yet.
Wow. That seems invasive of your privacy, but
Well,
okay.
it's healthcare.
Uh-huh.
Big brother.
Yeah, I guess so, man.
So they had this drop down box of reasons why, and you could choose one.
That
and-
you hadn't gotten it, or
Right.
Okay.
Like I went to my doctor, or
Gotcha.
I got it at a pharmacy, or I'm allergic to eggs, or
Okay.
there wasn't that like, I don't feel like it.
Seems like an oversight on the
Yeah.
form. Yeah.
So I went, and so I was waiting for the person to come and get me to give me my shot. And of course it's Vermont, and of course it's a hospital in Vermont. So it's 8:30 in the morning, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, like a yoga class just lets out.
breaks out.
At Employee Health?
At Employee Health. Like people are like walking down the hallway like, oh, namaste. No, you namaste. Like the class was finishing up. They had a yoga class
Wow.
at like 7:30 in the morning at the hospital.
Sounds like my nightmare.
I thought it was kind of wonderful though. So I don't know where I was going with
Well,
that. Might wanna
interestingly,
take that
so
whole
did
thing
they
out,
were they
but-
carrying yoga mats?
Yes,
Bringing
they
it all the way
were.
back to
Yeah.
the idea of carrying
Yeah.
around a yoga mat.
I
Yeah.
see where that came
They
from.
all had mats.
Here's my question about the carrying of the yoga mat. Is there a line at which you get a sling for it? Where is the point in your professional yogaing that you feel like I need the strap that lets me like sling it over my shoulder because I couldn't be bothered to just hold it?
Okay.
I feel like there's a line there that is indicated very clearly if you have a yoga mat sling versus just carrying the yoga mat. But I'm interested in your opinion about people carrying yoga mats in general. Is it just ostentatious? Do you feel like it's unnecessary?
I just feel that there's this sense of get out of my way because I do yoga.
Yoga coming through.
You know?
A yogi
It's
on the
it's
loose.
just I don't know. I can't. It's new to me. Yoga's not new to me, but this thing that I've been noticing is new to me. I'm just kind of workshopping it with you guys.
No, I totally get it.
So.
The idea of owning your own yoga mat, too, I feel like is a fairly new thing.
I
Like,
would
you
never use somebody else's yoga mat.
I hear you, and I
Yeah.
wouldn't either, but maybe that's why more people do yoga, because they're willing to lay on their own mat as opposed to going and borrowing a mat.
Maybe.
We had yoga classes at work for a period of time. That's the kind of progressive workplace in which I operate. And every now and then there'd be somebody new to the class and they'd be like, oh, I don't have a mat. Oh, you can use one of the mats that we have. And every time they'd be like, oh, okay. I'm like, do you not understand how yoga works and like the sweating and like that mat's just been rolled up in the corner for the last 3 months? That's okay with you? You're good with that? I don't consider myself a germaphobe, but that sounds terrible. So I guess why people would want their own mat.
I guess.
Find a locker, leave it in your car.
How
Something.
many different kinds of yoga are there?
Again, not big yoga people.
Yeah, you may.
This is going down the same road as the Luke Perry
So you've got
conversation.
Luke Perry and yoga, two not areas
So I
of
need
expertise.
two
not
new
yogi.
co-hosts.
These are
Anybody
these are
wants
blind
to
spots for me.
jump right
I'm
in.
going to say there's probably, I don't know, 4 or 5.
It's one of those things that there's probably like 17 different kinds of yoga.
There's hot yoga.
That was the one that came to mind.
There's cold yoga.
Yeah.
There's
stretching yoga.
Tepid yoga.
There's
tepid
like
yoga.
aggressive yoga.
chocolate yoga.
You want to go to a chocolate yoga? Chocolate covered yoga. You had sent me a text earlier today, Derek, asking if I knew how many bowling teams there are in the state of Vermont.
So I passed on the way to work today, and I will put it up on the socials. There's a picture at the local high school that says, very proud. Oh, you're pulling it up. What is
I
it?
am.
Something like very proud of our bowling team at the high school, our high school bowling team, state champs.
South Burlington High School, and the sign says, so proud of our SBHS bowling team, Vermont State Champions.
Vermont state champions.
Damn.
So
And then voting day and boosters meeting.
yeah, there's always other things.
Mm-hmm.
So initially I was like, that's pretty cool that they won the state championship in bowling. Any kind of state championship is a big deal. And I certainly don't want to be reductive and fault these kids for doing a great job. Bowling is hard. I'd like to bowl. I am terrible at it. But it immediately got me thinking, how many high school bowling teams are there in the state of Vermont? I can't
You know this?
imagine.
You're both lifelong Vermonters.
Yeah.
Well, it's not like every high school has football either.
Exactly. My high school certainly didn't have football. We had like the bare minimum sports. It feels like you'd have to get pretty low in terms of.
Where do they practice?
Yeah, right. So do they like rent out a lane for practices every time?
Do they
No.
jog around the bowling?
They go. They go
Winston.
to the lanes right near Costco in
they-
Colchester.
Oh yeah, they practice.
Do they
there?
get like cheese whiz and
I have no idea. I just
put it in
made
their
it up.
mouth?
I have no idea where they go.
How do you train for bowling?
a lot of lot of
every-
12-ounce curls probably. I would imagine
every day.
Every day.
Every day you train for
It's a
bowling.
full-time occupation. But I mean,
Yeah.
again, good for these kids for doing their thing and winning that state championship. But were there 4 teams involved? So, like, did you have to beat 3 other teams?
At least.
I don't know. It feels like there can't possibly be more than a dozen. If your school, listener, and you're from Vermont, if they had a bowling team, I want to hear from you. I want to know how many bowling teams we got here in the state. I'm very
Probably
interested.
have cool names of their bowling teams. Too.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Right.
I certainly would hope so.
Yeah, like the Pin Smashers. Or I don't know.
Should I Google that?
Yes, please.
Strike
Mom,
Force.
I need to go get cleats and bowling shoes.
Mom, can you drive me to bowling practice?
I gotta shine my ball before I go to practice.
Well,
I
listen.
lettered in bowling. I just want you to know that.
Got
I
the
do-
jacket and everything.
did.
I do know that you competed quite well in your bowling scholarship, but it was
I
lost
did.
to somebody at South Burlington High School.
yeah, I
so
don't-
Couldn't get that state champs
So
Damn it.
pissed.
credential.
can't
Listen,
let
if
that
you're
go.
out there and you're a high school bowler, thanks for listening. But we want to know more. I'm very interested
I have a
in the high school bowling
lot of
circuit. I got a lot of questions.
A lot of questions.
What are the parties like after matches? What's the bus ride like with you and the 4 other people who are on the bowling team? I'm really interested. I really want to know. Bowling is one of those sports that, much like golf, which also has a terrible rep, that feels like one of those sports that you could do your whole life and never be all that good at. And good for you for sticking to bowling.
Looks like
lettering in that event.
Randolph, Fairhaven, Windsor, South Burlington. I'm just looking at the Facebook.
Windsor
page.
has a bowling
Yeah,
team?
Hartford, Brattleboro,
Wow.
Essex.
It's a lot of traveling involved.
I guess so. Yeah, you'd have to be a lot of traveling to and from matches. Also, another one of those things I don't. What is a bowling? It's a match, right?
It's a league.
League. Yeah, right. So
Okay.
you go to your league.
I got excited. I knew the answer to that one.
Oh, it's a league. I've heard this term.
It's a league.
I know this one.
Is it a bowling? Is it a match?
It's got to be a match, right? I think so.
Oh no.
They've even got a little video.
A roll.
I encourage you to go look at it.
I'm not on Facebook for 30 days.
Oh,
So what's with the not on Facebook for 30 days? What's that all
I
about?
don't know.
Just felt like the right thing to do right now?
Well, I get this message every week that lets me know how often I'm on social media
Oh God,
and for
don't
how long.
Don't do that to yourself.
But here's the problem. I did the math completely wrong.
Oh.
Not a big shock. I was on my phone for about 6 hours a day.
Okay.
Which is a lot.
Holy cow.
I know. But here's the thing. I watch TV in the morning, but I'll put on the news and I'll put on my speaker. So that
I
counts
see.
as
So
like
you're streaming,
an hour and a
video.
half.
Okay. Okay. So
and
that's
then,
not.
So I thought I was on Facebook for 6 hours.
I see. So you saw that and immediately were like, I am on the
Right.
social
And
internet.
I did this
way
like
too
weird
much.
math where it's like 75% of the time was on Facebook. And I was wrong. So what I did was, and I know that there's a way to remedy the problem, and I've decided to not do it because it seems like it's a lot of work.
That's how we make
I had
decisions.
Michelle change my password and not tell me what the password is. I mean, I could easily just log on to Facebook and be like, forgot my password. But I don't want to do that. So now it's me against me to see which one of us is going to win.
It's Facebook loving you versus Facebook fearing you, and you're seeing, battling it out.
And it feels okay to not be on Facebook, but I feel like I've missed a lot of stuff.
Not news so much, but your people's updates and, good tidings and...
But I see them on Instagram.
But also the drama. You're missing a lot of the drama. That's the interesting thing about Instagram and Facebook. On Instagram, you're much less likely to run across somebody who's in like a personal trauma or having some kind of drama with someone else. You're going to see the good stuff on Instagram. So if you're going to pick one, stick with Instagram. That's going to be way more positive.
And Twitter for when I need to get angry.
Exactly. You need to vent because you're going to have to some kind of outlet. If it's not going to be Facebook, you better be somewhere.
And my friend Margo said something very interesting. She said, because she's off of all social media.
Good for her.
For Lent.
Nice.
And
who's this?
Margo Batesy. She's coming up a lot in this show. It's the Margo episode.
It's the Margo episode.
So she has given up.
Episode title right there.
Right.
The Margo episode. Oh, was that who the guest was? No.
We need to talk about Margo.
No, Mo is the guest, but Margo was the topic.
Didn't you say her name was Mo? Yeah, but Margo's the show title.
Follow.
Right? If you listen to the show instead of just judging the title. So she has given up social media for Lent.
Nice.
And she said, maybe this is the time where I kind of step away from Facebook. And she said it so simply and so eloquently. When she scrolls through Instagram, she sees a picture of Paris and she's like, oh, that's really pretty. She could see the same picture on Facebook and say, why can't I go to Paris?
Why can't I go to fucking Paris?
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, that is weird.
It's very strange, but it's so right on.
I think on Instagram, you're somehow, at least for me, like I'm separated from the people that I follow on Instagram because they might have a crazy name. It's probably not their name that I'm looking at. I'm looking at their screen name.
Right.
On Facebook, I'm seeing this person was in Paris. On Instagram, I'm just seeing picture of Paris that someone took. Okay, that's fine. I can't associate with, hey, that person is in a better place in their life than me because they're in Paris.
Right.
It's just like, oh, what a lovely photo. That's very interesting.
Isn't that interesting?
That's a really good point.
I thought it was incredibly insightful. So I think I might, after 30 days, go back to it because curiosity always gets the best of me.
Well, that FOMO is strong.
Is there anything going on Facebook right now that I need to know about?
I think, boy.
Well, we don't have the same friends.
We don't.
So
because of the falling out.
Well,
oh yeah. Oh,
she's not blocked on Facebook.
People took sides.
Well, it sounds like it was pretty serious.
No, I made that part up.
No, they totally don't.
But here's the thing: at the end of the
We were
day,
mad at each other for like 20 days.
Yeah, at the end of the day,
long.
we dislike all of the same people.
See, that's a unifier.
Right. Yeah. So I think we're stronger together. Wouldn't
We
that
are.
be a great slogan for, I don't know, politics?
Stronger together.
Stronger together. This has been, if we had a theme song, I'd play it really loudly.
Let me whip out the cello. We'll figure
We gotta
something else.
we gotta get on that. You gotta get on the drums, Mo. You gotta get on the cello.
Yeah.
We gotta work something out in terms
can
of a
do
theme
that.
song.
We'll come up with something.
Okay.
You play instruments.
I like instruments.
Oh, okay.
I like hearing instruments.
Okay.
I own instruments.
Okay.
Also, I've been saying since we found out we were having a child, I'm like, this has been the point the whole time. All these instruments I have, this was why, so that my child can be surrounded by instruments and pick 2 or 3 that they want to play, and then become famous, and then I live off of them. That's the whole plan, and it's all coming full circle.
And play lots of music near the belly.
Yep.
Sadie played the cello as well, my daughter.
Nice.
Because when I was pregnant for her, I played and she was right up against the back of the
Yeah.
cello.
Oh,
so,
totally.
Yeah, so and I like to think it
that's
just sort of
awesome.
seeped
Yeah.
Totally.
right in. I also play the recorder. I play the Titanic on the recorder. And so
Do you have it with you?
No. But you know what? Teaser for next time.
Yeah, absolutely. Come
Because
back
I'm going to
for
blow
that.
your mind right now. You and I are starting a band right now.
Yes.
Because I do play the drums, and you play the cello,
And the recorder.
and you play the recorder. And you know what else I play? What a lot of people don't know?
Canastas.
No.
Oh, that's a card game.
I wish.
Canasta.
I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant.
Castanets.
Castanets.
I was with you 100%, Mo.
I don't have a really good, strong command of the English language.
No,
The
I
Costanzas. Is
think
that
it
what they
was
are?
a-
The Costanzas?
The Costanzas.
It was a
Yes.
great adaptation. And great adaptation.
What else do you play, Kelly?
I play the mountain dulcimer.
Are you kidding
Is that different than the hammer dulcimer?
Yes.
Okay.
A mountain dulcimer is like a sideways guitar, but not like the slidey kind, like the wow, wow. It's not like that. But yeah,
That is very cool.
so we have like old lady jam band.
I'm gonna get.
Let's
I'm
do
gonna,
a cover of Lady Gaga.
I'm gonna get a wash bucket and I'm gonna turn it over.
Yes.
And I'm gonna get a broom handle and a piece of string and we're gonna have a bass. It's gonna be great.
What's Michelle going to play? Michelle, what are you going to play?
Michelle, what are you gonna play?
Nothing.
I guess she's not joining our band. There was a gentleman when I lived in Manhattan. There was a
Roadie
gentleman
for us.
who was usually at either the Christopher Street stop or the 14th Street stop playing music on the platform. And he wasn't like a regular busker because you have to have a license for that, which
Yeah.
I always thought was kind of weird and odd and interesting. But this was a gentleman who was playing for money, and he would play and he would sing.
Nice.
And you know what he would sing over and over and over again? "Are you girl?" And then he'd play a couple of notes, and it would kind of sound like kind of twangy. "Are you girl? You girl?"
So it's just improv jazz
That was
on the
it.
tub bass.
That was it.
Oh, amazing.
So,
Brilliant.
and this went on for years.
You girl.
Are you girl? And I was somewhere with my friend Jackie Garris, and I don't know how it came up, but somebody said something like, "Hey, you girl," and both of us at the same time, without even ever talking about this, at the same time just said, "Are you girl?" I wonder if the guy's still
And his name is
playing.
R. Kelly.
Oh, okay.
something else.
Boy.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Oh, yes.
I saw
In
some
episode
outtakes.
2 of You Don't Even Know.
Did you see the interview yesterday?
I
saw,
did not.
I saw some of the outtakes
Yeah.
from that. Yeah.
I am still recovering from watching all of the episodes of Surviving R. Kelly. Have you
man.
watched this?
I
No,
started watching it and I haven't.
Don't.
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 Okay.
It's
saving myself
terrible.
Is it?
But it's one of those things I was like, oh, I'll just watch one more.
from that. Yeah.
And it's terrible.
Yeah.
I fell down such an R. Kelly rabbit hole, if that's even a thing.
Sorry you can't get that time back.
No, I can't.
It's tough.
But here's the thing. I was really interested to hear the survivor stories. And, you know, it's kind of what I do in one of my jobs.
Sure.
And I'm trying to think of what I had to watch in order to bounce back. That's when I watched A Star Is Born. Because I thought, that will bring my mood up.
Sure will.
And it didn't help.
I was going to suggest Marble Olympics, but you went another way.
No, I went a different route. And then I tried to watch something. Oh, that's when I started watching Umbrella Academy. That got me out of my R. Kelly K-hole.
Umbrella Academy.
It's,
Mo, have you seen Umbrella Academy?
No.
I'm only like 2.5 episodes
Are
in.
you into like the superhero type genre?
Not really.
Yeah.
But
this
see,
is
neither
I
am
can
I.
watch-
I'm
I
not,
can watch.
and
Yeah.
I like this.
I started Finding Neverland the other day.
I've never seen that.
No.
Well, no, it's the whole thing of Michael Jackson. And,
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
I was thinking of what was the movie?
There's
from
another
I know,
Neverland
you're
movie,
trying-
which is what I
yeah.
was thinking of
yeah.
as well.
Oh, I was thinking of Neverending Story.
Oh.
Never mind.
She didn't see that one either.
Oh, so this is the
I
Michael
didn't.
Jackson
I don't think anybody
documentary.
saw that one.
So did you watch the whole thing or?
No, it's on HBO and it's
Yeah.
several episodes. as I
Oh,
understand
so
it.
it's like the R. Kelly
So
thing.
it's
I thought it was one long movie.
two guys who were with Michael
Yeah.
Jackson a lot when they were young.
And it's probably not good.
Oh no!
Oh, it's not good for
at
Michael
all.
Jackson?
Yeah,
No.
I'd like to circle back quickly to my desert island bands. I may have to amend that list
How are
slightly.
you going to edit this show?
Oh, it's going to be an adventure.
Okay.
It's going to be an adventure. I'm going to have to invest some time. Listen, we've got an episode coming out tomorrow.
We do.
And I got 2 weeks.
This is true.
So I'm
This is
going to
true.
invest some time.
All over the place.
So
For God's sake.
yeah, so my concern about my interest in having Michael Jackson as one of my desert island bands is now haunting me after all of these additional allegations have come out, and there's no way to convince yourself at this point that he wasn't into some shit. And so now I'm finding myself really questioning whether or not that is somebody that I want to listen to ever again. And so we'll revisit that topic at some point.
I have to separate the man from the artist. Because I love his music so much.
Absolutely.
I have to separate it.
It's really tough, and I'm usually pretty good at that. With this, though, I feel like there may be a line. There may be a maximum velocity that I can handle here.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But it's tough. It's tough. I look back at that episode now, and I'm like, ooh, boy, that was of a time just a few months ago where that was okay. Yeah. That's no longer okay.
Yeah.
I think when things like that happen, what you have to remind yourself is you should probably start with the man in the mirror. And you should
I'm
ask
asking him
to change his ways.
To make a change.
And I don't know how many times I've said to both of you, if you want to make the world a better place,
take a look at yourself.
And make that change. Oh, that key change. It's one of the best key changes in the whole world.
I think you're stretching the truth a little.
No, I'm not. I
wouldn't say it's the best.
It's on the list.
So? Okay.
It's on the list.
I know it. I can hear it in my head.
All right.
Jam on, Kelly. Jam on.
It's the best key change in any scene.
Doubling down on the best key change.
Eric Carmen has a great key change in All By Myself, as does. See?
Mm-hmm.
You got it. That's a bold statement, girl.
She makes a great point.
So I'm just saying, Celine Dion, when she did the remake of All By Myself, Eric Carmen, also another great key change.
So if you've got your top 5 key changes, we would like to hear about them here on Bitter Coffee.
I do have them.
Do you know?
Sure you do.
You know, nobody does that anymore, by the way.
I know.
This modulation that used to happen in the early 70s, 80s, they don't do key changes anymore.
That's because people don't really sing anymore. That's the issue. They just
true.
move their hand on the keyboard to change the auto-tune, and it's not the same.
Okay, keep talking.
We should have Gregory Douglas on
here.
We should have Gregory Douglas on the show sometime, and he can talk to that whole thing.
Let me find that key change part.
Okay.
It is pretty good.
That's good.
It's pretty good.
Come on.
It's because they add the whole
chorus
tabernacle behind them.
But here's the thing. If I'm going to have a key change in a song,
I love it.
Tabernacle.
If I'm going to have a key change in a song, I'm going to bring the choir
Bring in
with
the tabernacle.
me. I'm not doing it on my own.
That's true. That's a good point.
I had a conversation with my friend and supervisor, Jillian, at work, and she could rattle off like her top 10 key changes.
Wow.
And there was one that I texted to her, and now I have to find it because it's a good one.
Okay.
Oh, I remembered it. It's the key change in Dark Lady by Cher.
Okay.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I can't bring it to mind
We're
exactly.
about to find out. So hang on. And this is also one of the songs that I have hidden when I do research papers for classes. A lot of times you have to like create case studies.
Yeah.
And so far I've done Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves. And Dark Lady. Because she finds out that her husband is cheating and she kills them both.
Right. So you've just explored that story?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
All right,
you took this song and made that your paper? Mm-hmm. Freaking genius.
I know.
Genius idea. That is brilliant.
Yes.
And one of my instructors,
I want to go back to school
it took him
just to
6
do that
months
now.
to realize
Shit,
that I
right?
did it.
Play the song.
I'm trying to find it, but there's so many Cher options. My God. I just looked up Cher. I didn't look up Dark Lady. It's also one of the worst Cher songs ever.
But
and that's what makes it so good. Like the lyrics are like she's making them up as she's singing. So you know this song, right?
No.
This is one of those songs I
never heard
constantly
it.
sing to Michelle. Ready, you guys?
Oh, of course.
You couldn't see Kelly doing the boom boom with her hand there.
So I'm going to find the key change in that song because it's genius. Oh, here it comes.
Wow, that's a jump.
Okay.
It's a good one.
That's nice. That is nice. I will grant you that. That's a
The
good key
lyrics
change.
don't change at all.
Well, are they? Let me hang on. Is it Dark Lady? Is it Dark Lady? All I got was at the beginning. She was brushing a cat at the beginning.
Okay, so let me walk you through it.
That's the part I got.
So she has a cat. Well, she doesn't have a cat. The psychic that she goes to see.
The Dark Lady?
Yes.
Ah, gotcha. Okay, has a cat.
She's a psychic, and apparently she makes a fairly decent living because she has a cat and a limousine. And she has one of those really weird, rare cats who loves being in a car.
And being brushed, apparently.
Yep,
Yes.
in the car.
car.
Maybe it's soothing for the cat. So we can explore that. That's a different show because you know what, you guys? You don't even know.
You don't even know.
The whole podcast should be just nothing but.
You have to do it with us.
I would
And
be happy to.
should do
I think iTunes needs to look the other way.
we'll just send them in another room for a while, the iTunes.
Sorry,
Don't
iTunes.
listen to this one. This is
I got a
fine.
chocolate-covered copyright infringement. So, now I'm glad we all took that walk together.
Wow.
And thank you all for coming with us.
Exciting. I kind of want to talk about the woman who tried to steal the my Buddha statue out of my garden a few years ago. But I don't know if I have the emotional bandwidth for that this evening.
She's still walking the streets, by the way.
She is still
is.
on the loose.
She is. And I heard that she takes the bus from Burlington to Winooski to collect cans
Sure she does.
in different towns.
And garden Buddhas. Mm-hmm. It's a Buddha-rich area.
It
Now,
is.
did you? We're going to talk about this another time.
No, we can, we can tease it a little bit.
So did you saw her with the Buddha in her hands?
I did. I caught her in my backyard.
And
Buddha-handed.
You sure it wasn't like her son? I just want to be clear.
Now, I'm not sure. So in Dark Lady, that keychain is, I don't know. I don't study genetics. I don't know.
It's a fair question. I think.
It is. I caught
Fair
her. I
question.
caught her in my yard,
Right.
walking away with my Buddha. That's in the back of my backyard.
Right. What was she doing back there? And it is a hike to go from the front of the house. to
It
the back.
is.
You gotta
Yeah.
go through a gate.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at the time there were 2 gates.
That's true. Oh, man.
Yeah, I'm going
she
back
really worked for
5-6
it.
years.
She was probably casing the joint for years.
And I saw her big, gigantic sun hat, and she's shorter than me, which is weird.
So you
and
saw this floating hat.
I did.
Yeah.
Past my living room window, and I was like, "What is that?" I thought it was like, "Is it a flying saucer? Is somebody throwing
It's a UFO outside.
like a straw frisbee at me? Why am I not playing that game?" And she was just walking away with it. And so I guess I'm telling the story now.
Yeah, it's happening.
Might as well
Let's just-
finish.
So I saw her
that.
walking through my yard with this wooden Buddha statue that we have in our garden, or had in the garden. Now it's in the living room. And
Well, apparently it's not safe outside.
no, it's not.
Yeah.
And I asked her, "What are you doing?" And at first she ignored me.
Ooh.
Like she was like, "I will be on my way." Like and
Taking your statue and I'm going home.
that was it. I don't need any trouble, lady. So I grabbed the statue.
Out
And
of
at
her
this-
hands? You
out of
ripped it out of her hands?
I didn't rip it out of her hands. I was like, can I have that, please? It's mine. And at this point, that's when Michelle kind of shut the front door and she's like, "Oh, I'm not getting it." She's the smart one. And I said, "Give me that." And then she like tried to pull it out of my hands.
Wow.
So there's a
My
little bit
son.
of a
My
Again,
son.
I was going to
there's a
circle
little
back.
bit of back
Can we
and
be
forth.
certain?
And I was like, "This isn't yours. You're stealing it."
Yeah.
So I took it and
Did you call the cops?
I did. So I slammed it back down the garden, and a couple of tomato plants didn't really survive, but whatever. I was making a point. So then I called the police and I said, "Hi, there's an older woman who just tried to steal a Buddha statue out of my garden." And the Winooski cop said, or the dispatcher said, "What?" And I said,
Feels like a
"I
natural
have a
reaction.
wooden Buddha statue in my garden, and somebody who collects cans in my neighborhood tried to steal it from my yard." And he said, "Well, she's collecting cans?" And I'm like, "That's not the point."
You're in a Mrs. Maisel situation where it's like, what playground is this? Like you're
Where's this
missing
playground?
You're missing the point here.
So, and I saw her cart parked out front, and I said, "Yes, like she collects bottles and cans from people, and she stole my Buddha statue." And he said, "Okay, well, where is she now?" And I said, "She's headed up my street." And then I gave the cross street, and I'm looking right at her. She's only like 30 feet away
she
from me.
couldn't have gotten far.
She's like this tiny older woman. Like she's not hauling anything anywhere. And he said, "Can you give me a description?" And I said, "She's an older woman with a gigantic hat and a granny cart filled with cans."
And she's walking down the
conspicuous.
middle of the street.
Yeah. And he said, "And where is she?" I'm like, Like, there's more than one?
Which one of these
wait,
women are you speaking of?
Is there anything that can clearly define who she is?
Anybody who lives in Burlington or Winooski has seen her.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody knows her.
Staple.
Yeah.
In
Everyone
the
knows
summertime, I haven't seen her so much in the winter.
I haven't seen her
On
since
my-
that day.
I saw her last
5 or 6
summer.
years. You
Yeah,
did.
I did.
Enormous hat, right?
Yes.
the
Well,
hat,
when
it's
it's
like-
cold out, I think I have seen her. She's wearing a wool hat, but it's not the big gigantic hat.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not like a sun hat. It's more for warmth.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But so she's around again on the loose. It should be noted. She's still out there. Everyone,
crime spree.
Lock your doors. Hide your kids.
Yeah.
Well, Mo, I want to thank you from the bottom of both of our hearts for being here and adding
too
an
sweet.
Oh my God.
incredible.
Will you come back?
vibe.
You're going to come back.
Oh yeah,
Fuck yeah.
Definitely
And I
have
think
you.
I think when you're on paternity leave,
Yep.
she could maybe sit in
Hey,
your seat a little bit.
I think you could do a fantastic job over here on the
I
side
would
of the
be
table.
honored and
Be awesome.
I think it would
Happy
be
to do
wonderful.
so.
Totally into it.
Okay.
Yes, it'd be great. But thank you all for listening. Again, thank you, Mo, for being here.
And we're sorry.
And we're sorry.
for
We
a lot.
apologize both to you, Mo, and to the listening audience. Once again, if you're looking at your readout on the podcast, and you're like, what is this 13-minute episode? Let me just tell you, we've been recording for probably 2 hours.
yes.
And we want to thank all you dark ladies out there for having a listen, whether you're brushing your cat, reading your tarot cards, or cheating on some poor woman's woman's husband. We thank you for listening.
If you want to reach out to us, you could find us on Twitter. You could find me at Flouncy Traeger. You can find Derek at Mobydiculous. And Mo, what's your where are you on Twitter?
Twitter
I don't
is
know because you have me
Citro.
blocked.
I know. I'm
so.
gonna fix it. I'm gonna work on that.
It's a process.
It's a process. I'm still not over it. I'm not ready to do that. I'm not ready to unblock you yet.
Definitely gonna unblock you. Don't you wait? Don't sit there and wait for it. But don't worry, it's gonna happen.
Cello Baby on Instagram, CELLOBEBE, the French Bibi.
Nice,
Monique
That's right,
Citro.
because you're French.
Because I'm French.
as we previously discussed.
Yes, bonjour tout le monde. And Monique Citro on Twitter and Facebook.
Nice.
Thank you so much for listening, you guys. And Mo, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thanks.
Our intro and outro music is Hold Me Down by...
R. Kelly.
I want to say it's John Stamos and the Bends.
That is correct. That is correct.
Thanks a lot, and we're very sorry.
Intro and outro music is Hold Me Down by John Worthy and the Bends. And we can't wait for you to tune in to the next episode of Bitter Coffee. Thanks so much, everybody, for
Call
listening.
your mother.
Stay fresh. Cheese bags.
Thanks.